Hi, welcome to this video tutorial. My name is Alex Senechal, and in this video I'm going to be going over some KeyShot 9 image settings. But first I just want to talk about KeyShot 9. So in KeyShot 9 we have the new feature of GPU rendering. You can see it's insanely fast at rendering this pistol. Rotate around and it's almost done. It's ridiculous. And yeah, I have a 16-core Threadripper. It's very powerful, but it can't compare in speed to GPU rendering. So I'm really glad about this feature. It's one of the reasons that I was starting to leave KeyShot, and now I'm coming back because GPU rendering is a lot faster. So yeah, with that said though, let's get into the tutorial. So let's cover just some of the basic settings and see how they change our render. So over here, if we go up to the top, we have resolution presets. So this is important if you want to have a very specific resolution and aspect ratio to your images. I'm personally not using this a lot, but it can be extremely helpful for professional settings where you need to match the client's request. So very nice to know. The second thing is we have image styles here. Now, image styles can be used for basically creating groups of settings that we can switch between. So let's do it for example. Let's turn the exposure down on style 2. If we go back to style 1, you can see the exposure is set to 0. So we can switch between these two image styles and say, for example, you wanted one render to be more bright and sheery and the other one you wanted to be dark and low contrast. You can switch between your specific settings for each camera angle. So let's set that back to 0. And let's just delete it and work in one layer style. So yeah, first thing to note, we have two settings, basic and photographic. Now, the difference that I see mainly between these two is the setting for response curve, the names here, and the white balance. And I'll go over this in a second. And then also in the photographic, we have layers and color and curves. So basic is a bit more simple, but it still gets the job done. So let's go through some of these settings. So first, we have exposure. Exposure is going to control the brightness of your image. And gamma is going to be controlling basically contrast. And we can change these later in Photoshop, but it's very nice to do here because then you can already tell what your values are going to be and close enough that you don't have to do much tweaking in Photoshop or in post if you don't need to. You can get your final render looking much closer to what you need. The second setting, we have denoise. Now, denoise is going to make your image much softer, but it's also going to be removing noise. And this is very important, especially when you have a part of your scene that's going to be very noisy, and you want to get rid of that noise. So we can see the ground is very bright, but if you look around here, we have a lot of noise. And if we turn on denoise, it's going to soften a lot of this noise up really quickly. So denoise can be very helpful, I think, in moderate amounts and just not going too crazy with it. But yeah, it's really great if you are doing like product renders or something that needs to be a bit softer, maybe something stylized. So I'm not saying you shouldn't use it. Now, I really like this setting, and it's very standard in most render softwares, but I like to use the bloom setting in KeyShot because I find that oftentimes KeyShot looks very harsh, and it can soften up a lot of your highlights and make them just feel a little bit more natural, a little bit more relaxed, and just give it a little extra touch. So I recommend checking out the bloom settings. Now, the next one is vignetting. Vignetting is a very, very typical setting in most image editing, and it's nothing special, just darkening the outside of an image or brightening it or giving it color. So you can adjust this here, turn it off, turn off bloom. And then our final setting under the Basics tab is Chromatic Aberration. Chromatic Aberration basically simulates the discoloration and distortion caused by poor quality lenses in photography. Now, ironically, this is something that people actively try to remove in photography, but when we're doing CG, we tend to add it because it makes it have just this little extra touch of photorealism. So this can be something that's nice to do in Photoshop, but I actually think it's nicer to do it in KeyShot for a few reasons. One being that when you apply chromatic aberration in Photoshop, it distorts your image, and that's going to also distort your alpha layer. So like, let's say you have a few layers and you're compositing an image. The alpha channel is no longer going to match the one that you added the chromatic aberration to. And so doing it in KeyShot will ensure that all of your layers are going to be matching, and all of the alpha channels and everything will be undistorted. Everything will work perfectly. So it can be very nice to do it in here. All right, let's go to the Photographic tab. Now, something about the Photographic tab to notice is that exposure and contrast are going to be doing sort of similar things to gamma, and exposure will be the same. But we also have this additional setting that's more like traditional photography, which is white balance. So we can make this a bit of a warmer image here using white balance or colder. I'm going to be putting my response to linear because I'm using linear workflow and 32-bit images. And I am going to go to the next setting, which is curve. So curve is just like anything else in any other image editing program. It allows you basically to tweak the strength of values. And what I mean by this is we have shadows, midtones, lights, whites, and highlights. Now, sometimes it'd be nice to punch it up, make it pop a bit more. And so that's when you'll want to raise your highlights up. You know, I'm typically doing this on most of my renders, and I find that it's nice to be able to do it in KeyShot and get the KeyShot result looking pretty much how I want before I bring it into Photoshop and do post work. So this can be a nice thing to check out. All right, next setting, we have color. Now color is very straightforward. It's just saturation and vibrance. Same settings as Photoshop, nothing special here. And then we have also, again, denoise, bloom, vignette, and chromatic aberration. The last one is layers. And layers basically lets us change the background or the front plate from an image, and then also change the opacity of that layer. Not really using this, but yeah, so this is the basics of the image tab. The one last thing I want to go over that used to exist in the image tab is region rendering. Now, region rendering basically allows you to pick one part of your image and render it by itself. And this helps to speed up render time because, you know, if you're previewing your render, you don't have to go re-render the whole image, just this little part. And it can help make things much faster. You can also see too how it's basically instantaneous on GPU rendering. It's pretty ridiculous. Is it probably rendering this whole frame? It'd probably only be, you know, I don't know, a matter of seconds. So yeah, hopefully this video was helpful for some people. You know, it's very straightforward and very obvious part of the menu, but I don't see people using it a whole lot. So I thought it'd be really important to make this video and kind of show people that, you know, they should be using this when they're using KeyShot.